One UI 8.5 quietly changed something a lot of Samsung users notice every single day, and surprisingly, the reaction hasn't been great. The update completely changes how the battery pill works in the status bar, and for many people, the old setup was simply better. At first glance, it may seem minor, but once you realize what Samsung removed, you start understanding why so many users are talking about it right now. This is the new battery pill behavior in One UI 8.5. Inside the pill, Samsung now permanently places the battery percentage whenever the background is enabled. In earlier versions, users had more flexibility. You could keep only the percentage, use only the battery pill itself, or combine both depending on your preference. That level of customization is now gone, and the new settings menu makes that very clear once you open it up. Let me show you exactly what changed. If you head into Settings, then Notifications and open the Status Bar section, you'll find the only remaining control related to the battery pill. There's now just a single toggle called Show Battery Background. That's it. Samsung simplified the entire setup into one switch, and the moment you toggle it on or off, the limitation immediately becomes obvious. When the option is disabled, you only see the battery percentage in the status bar. Turn it back on and the percentage appears again, but now inside the pill-shaped background. What's missing is the option many users actually preferred, having only the battery pill without any percentage displayed inside it. That setup simply no longer exists in One UI 8.5, and right now there's no direct way to bring it back. Now, realistically, this isn't a huge issue for most people. A lot of users probably won't even notice the difference, but for enthusiasts who carefully customize every part of their interface, losing that cleaner battery pill style is frustrating. Samsung removed a visual option people genuinely used, and at the moment, there's no official setting to restore it. But there is a workaround that gets surprisingly close once everything is set up properly. Instead of keeping the battery info in the status bar, you can completely remove the pill altogether and rely on widgets instead. You can place battery widgets directly on the home screen and even on the lock screen, creating a much cleaner setup while still keeping battery information visible whenever you need it. And honestly, once configured correctly, the result can look much more polished than the default implementation. Here's the lock screen setup I've been using. Once the battery pill is removed, the lock screen battery widget becomes the main focus, and it actually creates a cleaner overall look. But before setting up the widgets, the first step is getting rid of the battery icon itself from the status bar. For that, you'll need Samsung's Good Lock customization tools, because the stock settings alone won't let you do it. Open the Good Lock application and launch the QuickStar module. Inside QuickStar, there's an option called Visibility of Indicators. This section controls which icons appear in the status bar. Samsung lets you individually toggle different indicators here, including the battery icon itself. Once you disable that battery indicator, the entire battery pill disappears instantly, leaving the top status bar looking much cleaner and far less cluttered. At that point, the battery information is gone from the top completely, so the next step is adding it somewhere more visually appealing. On the home screen, simply press and hold, open the Widgets section, then go into Battery Widgets. Samsung already includes several different battery widgets here. Personally, I'm using the smallest one, but there are multiple layouts depending on how minimal or detailed you want the setup to look. For the lock screen, the process is a little different because you'll need another Good Lock module called LockStar. Once installed, press and hold the lock screen to enter the customization menu. By the way, the wallpaper you're seeing here comes from the Walls application. It includes both premium and free collections, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. But the real customization starts once LockStar is enabled. Inside the lock screen editor, you'll notice the LockStar icon appear once the module is active. Tap the battery area, then open the App Widgets section. From here, you can place widgets directly onto the lock screen, including widgets from certain third-party apps as well. The battery widget I'm using actually comes from an app called Glass Widgets, and once selected, it integrates directly into the lock screen layout. After adding the widget, you can fully customize how it appears. You can resize it, stretch it wider, move it lower, or adjust it to fit the exact look you want on the lock screen. The entire setup feels much more personal once everything is configured properly. And while this still isn't actually restoring the original battery pill style from older One UI versions, it does give you another way to keep battery information visible without relying on the redesigned status bar indicator. At the end of the day, this is still just a workaround, not a true fix. Right now, there's simply no built-in option in One UI 8.5 to use only the battery pill without the percentage inside it. Hopefully, Samsung eventually brings that customization back in a future update, so users can choose between the pill alone, percentage alone, or both together. Until then, this is probably the cleanest alternative available for users who miss the older style.